We did it. We've gotten all the way through. Congratulations, team. We've done. I mean, we're not done, but we've done.
No, we're far from done.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, but we've done it. They've done it. What an epic season, and a great finale to finish it off.
Good.
Yeah.
So happy.
Look, I was laying in bed, tired as shit, and was like, "Fuck!" I forgot to watch the finale, and I watched all of it, and I was super impressed. So, yeah, just great.
My first watch, I could barely hear it because I was at the watch party. I was the only person there who didn't know what was happening. So people, I was sitting next to Tash and John and Tara, and they were all whispering to each other. And I thought they were talking about me. They're like, no, we don't want to spoil you.
And was everyone just like, everyone was just watching you?
Yeah, well, I had a lot. What do you think's gonna happen? And then Tash was like, I forget what happens. Like, does this happen? So, yeah, Tash doesn't remember a lot.
Yeah, as we've seen, which is a shame. But,
also, Dani, you need to flip. Yes, Liz, I did get a chance to rewatch today because I did miss a lot.
Yeah, I think we all did.
Well done, watches and rewatches to make sure that we haven't missed things that we watched the first time.
I always rewatch.
Yeah, but especially the Final Tribal Council because the quality was a little less than everybody has answers. So like I had my subtitles on. I was like listening very, very closely.
That's one good thing about having a lot of the cast there. A lot of stuff I was like, wait, I didn't hear that. What did you say?
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, nice.
I got them all to repeat that Brady was the worst player, and I was like, "How dare you?"
Yeah.
Who said that?
All three of them did in their final tribal.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, all three of them. Anyway.
Oh, that's
Brady
right.
said
They
watched the episode. Look,
I was about to say that when everybody was watching you to get your reactions.
I react quite out loud. Yes, thank you. And I'd had a couple of drinks in me already, so
nice.
I
Reaction.
was extra.
You gave them great entertainment as you do.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so let's jump in, shall we? We're at final 5.
Yeah.
Caitlin, Kate, Dale, John, and Chloe.
Yeah.
And then we're going to break down of their games. Mm-hmm. So we start with Caitlin. Been to every tribal. She's made very close alliances, played an idol successfully.
Yeah, she didn't actually play her idol successfully. It didn't affect anything. She played an idol. The person she wanted went home, but they were going to go home anyway.
It was successfully, but not properly.
Like, it's either successful or it's not. So I'd say it was successful. It just wasn't.
But it didn't
useful.
mean anything.
Yeah, she played the idol. And
like if the person you play your idol on didn't get any votes, then that's not a successful idol play. I wouldn't say it was wasted because that was her last chance to use it. But anyway, we're debating semantics. I'm sorry.
And then you get a little thing from her where she had a hand in voting out almost everyone. Which I mean, if you've been to every tribal council, that is absolutely something you can have to your name. Kate, she's won challenges and had everyone coming to her for directions, which again is true, key to her social game. And she just cannot believe that she's in the final 5. John, again, been to every tribal council and voted correctly almost every time. And we see that in final tribal council at 12 out of 13, which is incredible.
Yeah, Laurel's the only one he didn't get. And I think he knew Laurel was going. So it wasn't that he was out of the loop. He just...
Yeah,
he wanted someone else and didn't have the numbers.
Yeah.
I came in thinking, could I do it in Real Survivor? You always think you can, but you never know. Maybe I am cut out for it, he says.
I think he is.
And then Chloe, she's contained her threat level and is now the last member standing from Old Yellow. I love hers. It's been such a whirlwind. I've been lied to, betrayed. My trust has been broken. I've won, I've lost, and I've almost run out of breath. But here I am.
I love that. Hi, Chloe.
Hi. Hey. And then Dale, hiding behind big personalities, has allowed him to be the swing vote time and time again. I'm super excited to prove I can do a game like this and do it well.
Yeah, and I like what Dale's saying. It's just that for me, Dale isn't assertive enough for me to give him my vote. I think Dale has done a good job at surviving, lasting to the end, being in good positions. His social gameplay hasn't been as effective and flashy. There's a lot of people playing big, we've used this word before, flashy games. And unfortunately for Dale, almost all the jury were considered big, flashy players. So, you're the complete opposite. It's very difficult to convince them that, okay, your gameplay was better because you made it to the final and they didn't. And we're in a power position. You did have the swing vote, so yeah, I like that.
Okay. All right, then we're going to jump into a few confessionals. John's journey was definitely not the journey he expected. I don't think I would expect to go to every tribal council either.
I mean, he did say he wanted to play like Denise, as we heard in his final tribal.
He manifested
it.
How many times did he say Denise?
I counted. It was only 3, but he just talked about her a lot.
Oh, okay.
We see Caitlin talk about how she wants to vote out Kate and John because she thinks she can win against Chloe and Dale, which I think if that was one of 3, that would definitely be the case.
Yeah.
And then they do this group hug and Dale says, "We didn't even smell that bad."
I mean, it's only the 3rd day. Like,
yeah, but
third day. Yeah.
Like, you mostly just smell like campfire smoke at this point.
Yes, smoke inhalation. And then we get the close-up on the idol in the log at
Yes, let's talk about this.
We've been talking about this idol for the past couple of weeks.
Okay, I have some tea. This is something I heard at the watch party. Apparently, there was an idol that had been hidden at the camp for quite a while, but it was hidden so well that no one could find it. So they moved it to a more obvious place.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah, that is tea because obviously we'd been discussing and talking about, is there an idol or is it just at challenges? Because we had seen idols at challenges and then to just go to the final 5 and then it's been moved in a really obvious position. It just really opens up the game. Like, okay, someone's going to win individual immunity and someone's going to have an idol, whether they're the same person or not. That's 2 people, if they're separate, that are immune at final 5.
So this is really interesting that John says this because, like, he says it was so obvious that's happening and still didn't find it. Whereas, like, in my watching this, I've really made notes. I was just like, we see John see it. In my head, John sees that fucking idol and he stands guard over the top of it. That's what it seems like he's doing to my watch. Like, he stood there at that log, just waiting and hoping for a chance to pick it up. And then we see Caitlin see it and not give a fuck about anybody else is there, and she just picks it up.
And I mean, it's final 5. It's the last time you can use an idol. Who cares if someone sees you find it?
Exactly. But it's like I'm just saying, it's funny that John says he doesn't see it because I thought for sure he was stood over that log, guarding it with his life, only for Caitlin to be like, "Sucker,
hey, that's mine."
Yeah, that was that. Like, I literally have notes being like, and then John's face is just a grimace of a grin. It's just more like kind of like, eh. Well done, bud.
John Senna made a comment, is it production interference to rehide idols? If no one can find the idol and they really want to keep it in the game at final 5, like, no.
It's production interference if you put it down on the ground and then bring someone over for a confessional at that particular spot. But if you just, no one's finding it, let's put it somewhere else. That's not production interference.
I think it should have been hidden before this.
Yes, probably.
I think it should have been hidden before final 5.
Yeah.
Sorry, say that again. Sorry, Dani, I was reading comments.
I said it should have been hidden before final 5.
Before final 5, yeah. And then Caitlin reads it out to...
What do you mean? These are entertaining.
Take advantage of my visual disability. Come on, John.
You make up for it in other areas. He's playing a good game. And then Caitlin
John, I wouldn't be complaining about anything if I were you. You won.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did pipe down.
What's that, John? You're ready to throw hands over here. Caitlin reads it out to everyone. I mean, John saw it. She didn't discreetly hide it. There's no point, honestly. Like, final 5 is the last time you can play it. Yeah, read it out to everyone. You got an idol. You're safe. You might as well try and win immunity. So everyone knew that, and that really impacts the final five, especially for Kate, because
Absolutely.
with Caitlin being safe, it means that Kate is the clear choice to vote out. So she really needed to win that immunity.
Yeah, well let's get there. We still get a confession from Chloe here where she's still hoping for an all girls final three, but she isn't sure. We get a confessional from Dale saying that he needs to wake up and perform a lot better in the challenges, which agreed, because he's not like for someone, we keep saying this, someone who's a physical, like he's an athlete, right?
Right.
He has not done much.
Performed.
No.
Post-merge.
Yeah, even in those earlier challenges, like
he wasn't a standout.
Yeah. I don't know. When you see, like, at the start, Dale says he was a professional tennis player, you think, okay, someone who's going to do pretty well at challenges, and then as Dale said, he's underperformed. So, yeah, he wants a win.
And then we go to the immunity challenge, which is a puzzle, a really interesting puzzle. I quite liked it.
I loved it.
But the endurance bit before it too, which really helps you mentally. You're like,
running back and forward, right?
Yeah, but definitely that's right. You can only take two
at a time. That must be so frustrating.
I like that.
You see Chloe like just throwing them from halfway at one point.
Well, if you're allowed to do that, why not?
Yeah. That would have been exhausting, especially being like at this late.
Especially the big test.
Afternoon. Yeah, exactly. And then, so we know you must create 5 towers equal in height to the smaller colors on the ends were the top and bottom of the pieces. Right, so every block had 2 colors, but the smaller ones on the ends were the top and bottom.
Yeah.
So you can like stack the middle colors up.
Yeah.
Which then we see John do.
And Chloe.
Yeah, but Chloe's like doing a deliberate try to like play and then flip them up.
Oh, okay.
Whereas like John's he's doing like a mix of like I was very confused as to what he was doing at that point.
Not sure what the strategy was there.
Yeah,
I was so blind that I didn't see it.
Hey, they're very obvious colors, and did you not have your glasses on? Like I don't understand. Okay,
John
I was quite far
had
ahead.
really bad eyesight. Idols, colors.
Dale was quite far ahead, but couldn't see them.
Yes, Laurel, we are potting. Don't forget about us. So we're still going to be here for another 2 weeks. But I like this challenge. Like for the second last challenge, it's difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes for long enough. Like we could have probably sped that puzzle footage up a little bit more.
I sped it up. Just skip.
Oh yeah. I was on 2 times speed. Watching it, but then Caitlin, credit to her, pulls out the win.
Yes, big win,
which is very impressive, especially knowing like she didn't have to try that hard.
No.
Yeah.
In this challenge,
and then an homage to Michelle Fitzgerald. She kicked it, knocked it over. Yes. There's everything I wanted it to be.
Nah, love that. Yeah, it was a good win because, I mean, Caitlin is trying to compete as hard as everyone else, and I think it's like. It's not said or discussed, but it's basically everyone versus Kate, because if Kate wins and gets to the final 4, she has a very good chance of winning final immunity. So you really did not want her to win that.
Well, if Kate wins at Caitlin's immune, John goes here.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right? John's the next, like, our winner is gone at this point in time, if that's the case.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, and then Chloe's very frustrated by the loss. She does escape rooms, for God's sake. She should be really good at this sort of stuff. She seems very upset. She also seems to be going into a Brady-esque tailspin. She thinks she's next. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know which alliance she should go with. She just seems all very confused.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much going on, and you've really got to weigh up the final 3 all girls. You know, we talk about it, they talk about it, but there is a lot going on for Chloe right now. So
yeah, I mean, she's got lots of avenues to move. She's not a target anymore. I think people see her as less of a threat without Brady around because they're not a power couple.
Yeah.
And they give Brady a lot of credit for her play, like their game that they did together. And I don't know whether that's a credit to her socially because she's managed to lessen herself as a threat because she is so like vivacious and friendly with everybody else, or whether they just think that because Brady's a man, he was the power of the two of them.
Yeah. Brady seemed like, even with just his confessionals, that he was a lot more strategy minded. However, we saw Chloe, like, because we didn't really see the strategy talk between Chloe and Brady that much. Like, we saw little bits, but we saw lots of strategy from Brady's confessionals, and then we just see Chloe going around talking to lots of people, and we know how.
Here it is. Brady openly said he was the strategy and Chloe was the social.
Right.
But you can't have one without the other.
No.
Yeah,
like you can have the best plans in the world, but if you haven't got someone who's going and talking to other people, getting them on your side to make them happen, it's not going to work.
So, question: what do you guys think is better? Obviously, we see Chloe outlasting Brady and a lot of other people. Do you think it's better to be more social as a player or more strategic, or just depends?
You need to be both.
Yeah, at this point in the game, your social needs to be more forthright. Like people, like you need to hide the strategy, but you need to be super strategic in the same breath. So you kind of got to be thinking 3 moves ahead at this point in the game because you've got to try to wrangle your way there, especially without like a solid alliance.
And your social element needs to have strategic backing to it. Like you can't just go up and talk to people, endear yourself to them. That's what the early game is about. At this stage, all your conversations need to be meticulously thought out. What am I trying to achieve? I'm approaching Kate. What am I trying to get out of this conversation?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah, there you go. Chloe says they're one and the same. Like, agree.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I think they're both as important. I just think like you need to be careful with your strategy at this point in time. You need to be super strategic in everything you do. But if you like start being a little bit forceful with it, you become very, very much of a threat at this point. I'm like, boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's not room to maneuver at this point in time. It's very little wiggle room with the final 5. All right, then. Kate is super happy for Caitlin winning immunity. She believes 2 biggest threats left are her and Caitlin, and she doesn't see the point in pretending otherwise with Caitlin. To be honest, I'm a little disappointed with Kate's lack of hustle at this point in time. She's just kind of like, it's going to be me, and I'm just going to like accept it, and hope
Sorry, go.
And hope that maybe Caitlin, wants to have a powerful final girls duo, but there's no fight. And it's frustrating.
I think she wasn't going to bullshit Caitlin and try and convince her that she wasn't a threat. She did have a conversation where she sort of said, look, I'm not going to shoot you. Like, we are the 2 best players in the game. But she did say we have a better chance of getting to the final 3 together. And I agree with Kate. I think Caitlin made the wrong move voting Kate out. I think, not to be results orientated. Like, obviously, Caitlin goes at 4. But I think if Caitlin had taken out John here, coming into final 4, Kate and Caitlin would have stuck together. And
I don't know about that.
I do.
I think
Kate takes Caitlin for sure.
Absolutely. I think Dale probably still wins that challenge, but I think they may take out Chloe.
No,
I think they go 2 and 2 there.
Personally, I think if Caitlin brings Kate to final 4 and they vote out John, and Dale still wins, I think the girls are going to turn on each other because Kate knows she's 100% winning if she goes to the end with Chloe and Dale, and Caitlin knows she's 100% winning if she goes to the end with Chloe, Dale as well. So personally, I think
that is true that Caitlin's best chance to win is against those 2, but her best chance to get to the end is with Kate, I think.
Because in all of Kate's confessional, she has talked about that she would go to the final 3 with Caitlin. Every single time. She's never once because in her head she thinks Caitlin will take her too because they're better going together because they're like they're going to compete. Whereas Caitlin's like, no, I want to win outright. Whereas Kate's like, oh, I just want an all-girls party at the end.
Yeah. And Caitlin, obviously didn't know what the final challenge was going to be. You would have assumed that Kate would have had the best chance to win whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I think if she wins, then the girls vote Dale out. And so I think Caitlin's best move would have been to vote out John here.
I don't know.
I also think that if Caitlin saves Kate here, Kate's even more indebted to her at the end.
Yeah.
Kate is already taking her. Like I'm telling you, Kate is taking her.
Look, I want to believe it, but
Caitlin's not taking Kate, but Kate's taking Caitlin.
No, I hear what you're saying.
If Caitlin had won Final Four, absolutely, she would have got rid of Kate. But I think, if Kate wins Final Four, she is writing down Dale's name.
Yeah, I would like to believe it, but I'm not 100% on board.
I do think Caitlin wins against Kate in final. I think it's close.
Really?
But I think,
Kate versus Caitlin.
Lorella's asking if Kate is coming on. Kate is unwell.
Yes, she was coming on the pod up until about a couple of hours ago. She has the flu. She is coughing up a lung and unfortunately won't be with us tonight. We do have Queen Caitlin, however, and we are having third place Dale join us at the end of the pod too.
CK saying Kate would have won. Interesting.
I think Kate wins too.
Yeah.
How much of a final tribal performance does Kate give though? Like I think she talks to her challengers.
We heard her at
I think she has. CK's on that jury and he is talking her the fuck up.
Yeah. I think Max.
I don't think CK's vote is up for grabs at the end if Kate sits there.
I agree. I think if Kate goes to the end, she wins. That's why I don't think you take her to Final Four and just like I think Caitlin had to risk voting Kate off and winning final immunity to get to the final three. At that point, I just don't think taking Kate was the smartest decision.
Okay. And everyone in the comments are telling me I'm wrong and that Kate wins. So, okay.
So another reason why Caitlin shouldn't take Kate to final three.
Yes.
Because she'd lose. So, yeah.
Yeah, but she would have gone a step further than she got. She would have made final three instead of final
second. I know.
I mean, there's no prize for second, third, or fourth place. I don't think.
No, I know, but it's that step. It's at least she had the chance to pitch.
The chance to plead your case.
Yeah. Look,
because that's like I was just about to. I think I might.
You got that? Are we
about to spoil?
I was about to spoil things, but you don't know what from what season, so
exactly.
Crazy.
Secret. There's no prize for first place. You get the glory.
You get the glory.
The glory as
you got like $10, didn't you?
Well, as the glory as Ethan knows,
and
who's the winner of our.
Oh, shut up, CK.
Yeah. No price for 6 hours.
I knew that would come in. At least I wasn't a losing final tribalist.
Well,
it was meant to be $100, but they were broke. Oh, that's awkward.
Okay.
I think so. If you win, John, you won $10 and Scott's spare condoms that he had. So he had a lot to give out as well. One for each person that was there. So.
And what about Rosie's party box? Can he get some of Rosie's party box?
Oh,
little mystery surprise there. Like, don't know what you're getting.
Your prize is a lift home.
Anyway, so I was disappointed by Kate here. I really wish that she had hustled a little more. You even see her say it. She's like, I feel like John's the only one scrambling. And it just annoyed me because I feel like she could have whipped Dale and Chloe in it with her.
I don't think so. I don't think Dale is voting for anyone else.
Yeah. I just feel like I wish she tried.
I agree. Like, I see, because I just watched it like half an hour ago, I see Kate's point to being like, okay, let's not beat around the bush when she's talking to Caitlin.
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
game. That's fine. But I think I still want Kate to really like try and pull something like out of the hat. Like, I don't know, tell people that you have an idol. Just lie. Like, just do something. Just convince Caitlin that if you get to 4 or even 3, you are not getting people's votes. Like, just try as hard as possible.
And then I'm confused also about Chloe's wanting an all girls. Now, like I was confused in it earlier, and then we had a conversation until she says that the majority of the jury is yellow, which is why she thinks that she stands the best chance. But I think she's discounting the players that she's left standing with. I think she's like holding on to the hope that because the jury is mainly yellow, that they'll all be for her. And she's not counting that there's also really big players on that jury who are going to be respecting game, not loyalty.
Yeah.
And I think I wouldn't put Laurel in the yellow category. She's technically started on the yellow tribe, but she's a red. So really, the yellow people on the jury, Max, Brady, and CK.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, which you haven't got CK because CK is for Kate.
Yeah.
Right. In the all girls alliance, I think Chloe definitely gets the least votes.
One. She gets Brady.
Yeah. Oh, he gets at least Brady's vote, but I think it's probably 4-2-1. Kate 4, Caitlin 2, Chloe 1.
Yeah,
she's overshadowed by those two.
Said here, she did say at the reunion she wasn't really thinking all girls. She just saw that as a way to get taken to the end. It wasn't something that she was particularly pushing for.
Yeah.
Until final 5, there was only 3 girls left.
Laurel said Kate wanted to sit next to me on the jury. I think again at final 6, if that is true, Kate, Laurel, and Caitlin need to pull together and be like, it's us 3 next. We are the biggest targets.
No, I think Laurel is saying that Kate wanted to be the next person on the jury, so she could sit next to Laurel.
So they could buddy up and have some girl time.
I love that.
We hear Dale admit that he hasn't really made any moves. So he's clamoring to Caitlin at this point, being like, I am not a threat. Take me, take me, take me. Even when you hear him say later that he did, I was kind of made up. But when he says it, I was like, well, there you go. At least you're owning your game a little bit here. Back take it later. Yeah. He says to Caitlin that he hasn't made any moves and he'd be a good player to take the he doesn't think the jury will respect him.
Yeah. And I think he's right. Dale then says, he was just sort of saying that so Caitlin would take him, but Dale, in my mind, was just you'd never consider voting off Dale at this point in the game. Like, Dale's the last person out of these 5 people that you'd consider to vote off.
You'd vote him off if you think that he's going to get taken to the end, and that's one more spot that you
instead
can't have.
Of you.
Right. Yeah.
But that's.
But you got Kate without immunity, so you got to get rid of it.
And then Caitlin asked Dale if she should play her idol. I was very confused by that whole conversation.
Yeah.
It's asking Dale what she should do.
I think like the voodoo idol, she wanted to do something big with it, but she already had immunity. The person who she wants out is already getting the majority of the votes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What can you do?
John said just before in the comments, like, Kate's best pitch to Caitlin would be, use your idol for me because it'll be fun and it'll be a big move. And if you do that, then I'm secured and we take each other to the final 3 no matter what. That's sort of Kate's pitch.
I agree.
Ron said would be her best pitch.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. Like, we have seen that Caitlin is willing to do something a bit chaotic and sort of doesn't actually like being in the numbers. Like,
she doesn't like being in a power position.
So, like, she's in the biggest power position at Final 5 with an idol and immunity. You might want to play to her sort of, I don't know, her willingness to play a big game and do something exciting and just say, let's do something crazy and play the idol for me. What do you think if Kate and Caitlin go up against each other in the final 3 with Caitlin playing her idol for Kate? Do you think that gives her...
From what everyone on the comments are saying, it sounds like Kate's win.
Kate still wins. Wow.
Because in their minds, Kate's convinced Caitlin to do that. That's Kate's move.
Right.
That's not Caitlin's move to save Kate. That's Kate's move to save herself.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. So then we see the conversation between Caitlin and Kate. Like Caitlin is kind of like, I think I'm going to be you or John. Which again, like I like that they're so honest with each other. It's kind of refreshing, rather than just bullshitting with each other. And Kate cops it really well. Like she's just so she's cool as a cucumber.
Surprised by it.
Okay. Yeah. And then Caitlin gets emotional about it, which is a dead giveaway for me that it's not John or Kate. It's Kate.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Because she's talking about it and she gets really upset by it. And I'm like, okay, no, so you're going to vote for Kate.
She's made the decision. Yeah.
Like just like the more she talks, she gets upset about it. I'm like, that's a dead ringer. Like
I did not expect that as well.
No, I know, because she's been so just like
she's been like
fun and chaotic to this point. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a big shock. And then what else was in that conversation? I think
we had Kate sort of pitching that. All right, if we get to the end, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let you talk.
Yeah. I'll let you have trouble.
Yeah. Sure.
From the people on the jury in the comments, would that have worked, or would you have voted for Kate anyway?
I think they would have directed all the questions at Kate to make her answer them. Okay, and then where have I lost my voice in my notes?
And then
conversation with Dale and Chloe, because Chloe wasn't sure if Kate
there's one before we get to that. Whereas Caitlin was just like, we were amazing about her and Kate. And I just love like her self-confidence. Like she's like, we're amazing, we're great. Like that's awesome. I just love that like self-confidence. It's not bragging.
Who has more self-confidence, Caitlin or Annabelle?
Different levels of self-confidence.
Annabelle's delusional, I think. So
you're lucky she's probably not watching this.
Like, there's a little difference, I think. Like,
it's a different type of confidence.
Yeah, there is. So, anyway, just throwing shade at Annabelle.
Kate's Queen Bee power move would have been to look at the jury and command them to vote for her.
Just look at them.
Just sit up.
Yeah.
Beautiful, just like, bold, and thriving.
She is beautiful, bold, but even thriving. We love it. Yeah, and then we see the conversation between Dale and Chloe, and Dale seeing Kate for the threat she is, but Chloe doesn't seem convinced at this point in time.
Yeah.
Kind of like,
I think, Chloe is considering taking John out because she is thinking that the girls might be the way to go. If they take Kate out here, maybe she thinks that she could go in fourth. But yeah.
Yeah, and then we see, is it the three girls finally come together and talk after that? Mm-hmm. And then again, Caitlin says basically to Kate in front of Chloe, like, I'm voting you, basically. Like, she's like, yep, I'm voting you, Caitlin, and maybe John. And Chloe's like, what? Did you just say that? Like,
you just told her?
She's so shocked. She's so shocked. You're like, told her. She's like, oh, okay.
Oh.
And Kate was like, I'm going to vote for Dale. And then I was like, oh, maybe I'm going to vote for John. All right, I'll vote for John then.
Yeah, I'll vote for John.
I don't know.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, and then we got a tribal council. Laurel comes in wearing fuck you glasses.
I love those fuck you glasses. Oh, great. That was iconic.
This letter was very, very good.
I love how she just like stops, looks at them, and puts them on.
Yeah. It's everything. And then Chloe starts off by like admitting to being surprised that she's sitting where she is, considering the jury. And Dale concurs the same for his own game, which again, I think when we look at that jury and we look at that final three, it surprises me too.
Yeah.
Like if you showed me that at the beginning, I would be like, what?
I know.
Well, let's see. We all had Chloe going really early.
Listen to it. I don't think we never doubted that Laurel would serve. We are just exclaiming our appreciation for Laurel serving.
There was never any doubt.
Never doubting.
If there was doubt, like, we lied.
Yeah, there was never any doubt.
Laurel, it's Laurel. Like, come on.
I know. yeah, like if you showed me that final 3 at the beginning, I mean, I would have been stoked. No, final 5. I would have been stoked because Caitlin's there, but the rest of them, I think I had pre-merge. So, like, I would not have expected.
I think I had Caitlin 4th. I had Kate pre-merged. Yeah. No, I think I had Dale as.
Oh, I've got it up.
Dale is like early merge.
Yeah, sorry, tell me.
So.
Because I thought Dale was going to be a challenge beast.
Yeah. So Dani, you obviously had Caitlin to win. Then you had So you had Chloe.
This was my first boot. I think Rosie was my first
second boot. Yeah. And you had
I think we all had ours first or second.
You had Dale after Chloe, and then you had Caitlin. Oh no, you had
Caitlin's my winner, and then Kate.
Ethan, is you bringing this up your way of bringing up the fact that you won?
No, it was Dani. Someone else brought it up. I didn't even bring it up.
I brought it up before.
I did win. I won.
Yes, you won. I got the highest score, so I won.
You lost.
You lose.
So you lost.
I got the highest score.
Golf, Jules.
Yeah. My score's bad.
I got the best score.
No.
I lost by a country mile. Like, it's ridiculous.
All right. And then basically Kate just talks. I mean, she's already being voted out, but she just talks herself into being, if there was ever any doubt in anyone's mind at this point in time.
She basically gave her final tribal speech.
She did. Yeah. She was just like, these are all the reasons why it's going to be me.
There was one point where she was talking about, feeling a bit vulnerable. She's like, it's up to people who have immunity and people that have idols. But it was only talking to Caitlin, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it actually looks like after Caitlin's massive spiel about why she's amazing and how she's played such a good game, Chloe, like, it looked like to me, Chloe really started, like, it sunk in. She's like, voting, keeping Kate here is just silly. The All Girls Alliance is definitely not happening. And Kate has played the biggest game out of the 5 of us. And she talked for like 2 minutes. Like,
I know. I was kept being like, shh. Yeah. I was like, stop talking.
Just didn't know.
And then John just secures
it. Thank you. She's proved my point that she needs to go.
Yeah, 100%. So,
because I mean, this was the other time John's the other big threat. That's not
John's playing louder than Dale and Chloe.
Yes,
and we, I think Caitlin says that, or Kate says, sorry, that John is the only one scrambling at final 5. Kate's chill, Dale's chill, Caitlin's got all the decisions. So John's the only one going around like scrambling.
Well, because John's the next biggest threat. That's why he's scrambling. Like Chloe and Dale, and no one's coming for them. Caitlin's immune. The next 2 on the chopping block are Kate and John. So John needs to throw all the heat on Kate at this point in time.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. And does a good job of that.
All right. And then we see Caitlin play the idol on herself. Which
I wasn't a fan.
I don't like it.
I think my reaction to that was, why?
And I'm just like, if you're not going to play it on someone else to curry favor come the next vote, then hold on to it, because you didn't need to play it. And that's a selling point at final 3. I had one immunity. I had an immunity idol. I didn't need to do anything with it. I got here on my own.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Well, Annabelle is watching.
Annabelle chatted shit about you earlier. Rewind.
I didn't like it.
No.
Hang on, John saying, should Caitlin have played the idol on me and said, John, did you vote for who I told you to vote for? So I did bring this up at the watch party. I said that, Caitlin, I think, should have played it for John. If she was adamant on sending Kate home, she should have played it on John, so that if she does end up in the final trouble with him, I don't really see that happening. But if it did happen, that could be something that brings him down a peg. I played the idol to save you. Yeah. I was in control of your destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah, absolutely.
Yep. No, 100% agree. I think you either, you've got 2 options: play it for John, or keep it and use it as a talking point at the final 3 if you make it. Playing it on yourself, I think it's just a waste and it's not a move. And I think
it's not remotely believable. I'm very confused.
Yeah, we need content.
Playing it on John,
yeah. Yeah. So, I don't
Just
even know
if she wants to like in her, she's saying that she wants to go to the end with Chloe and Dale, but maybe there's a situation where, say, Dale wins the next community and that they do get put to fire, or something ridiculous happens and they end up in final tribal together. That Caitlin can use that as a way to lower John's stock a little bit and bump herself up. Playing it on herself does nothing.
Yep. I think
I would rather her have held on to it than played on herself.
I'd be wearing that shit, to be honest. Just at the challenge, just in front of people, like just as a souvenir.
And it was a nice idol too. It was pretty. I would have really played it so you could take it home.
It wasn't a rock, so that's a good thing.
It was really pretty.
We're talking about her. Let me just message her and see where she's at. She's due.
Wonderful. That's a great idea.
Yeah, well, so we get, Kate votes for John and says, I don't know if this is how you spell it. It's a pretty easy name to spell, but that's all right. And then, Kate gets voted out 4-1.
Yeah, and I think we saw it coming, especially like during that tribal when you have Kate selling herself like it's final 3 and John selling her like he's on the jury and he wants to see her win. So she's gone. I don't think it's smart for Caitlin to keep her around. I think you keep Kate around and she Kate has way more of a chance to win final immunity than Caitlin does. And I just don't see Kate taking Caitlin to the end personally. So but again, it was everyone else wanted her to go. So
she's just logging on, so she should be here shortly.
Well, we've got to get to her vote out first.
I actually wrote a couple of
I'm thinking of looking at Kate. Jesus Christ! All right.
About the
It's hard when they've got a similar name.
Oh, true. Let's keep moving forward so we can get.
So we got a Dale confessional. Let's go. Dale confessional. He's happy to be in the final 4, mainly because he beat Rancy's spot from season 2.
Shade.
Who's Rancy?
Played in season 2 and he
Rancy from season 2.
Good job, Rancy. Anyway, sorry.
And Dale says he wants to win final immunity. Foreshadowing.
And then Caitlin's still talking about rocks.
Of course.
She's like, you flash back to when I was talking about rocks. I'm like, still talking about rocks.
Yeah. And we get a Caitlin confessional. If I lose final immunity, I'm fucked. Well, that's accurate.
Again, we're getting all this foreshadowing for what's about to happen. We're at final immunity, and it's an endurance challenge. They've got to stand on a circle. Look, Liz, I did watch Warrandyte, but over a long series of time because it was really, really hard to. I just didn't love it as a season. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've watched it, but I can't remember enough detail about it.
Yeah.
Luke. Sorry.
Luke.
So yeah, Caitlin
has endurance challenge. They've got to stand on the a circle thing and hold up.
Yep.
Can I say when this challenge was announced, my exact words were "fuck that."
Yeah.
I'd be down for that.
No.
Oh no, my wrist. No, it's not.
And that's what I said. Men have stronger wrists. They have an advantage.
Ethan refuses to comment.
Yeah, no, I've got friends laughing at Jules' comment.
Caitlin's out first, then John, and then we see.
Do men have stronger fingers though?
Well, Jules is a lesbian.
So... We need to move on from this conversation. What's going on right now? How does this always happen? How does this always happen? It's all about the challenge, not about dirty fucks.
This was a wrist strength challenge. Like you had to hold it straight arm and upright, like wrist strength.
Fingers,
Fingers not really there. They're just there to like balance it.
Wrists and fingers.
Yeah. Because Ethan is 8.
Ethan's 8.
Well done, John. Well done.
I enjoy that. Oh, salad fingers.
Thanks, Luke.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And then we see. So Chloe says, "I won't vote for you."
Good job, Dale.
Yeah, she's trying to get Dale to drop and says, "I won't vote for you," and then they're both just like, "Well, I'm not dropping."
Yeah.
Yeah. Dale. I mean, Chloe.
Oh, I'm just like,
is
she saying she won't vote him out, or is she saying if you vote me out and I'm on the jury, I won't vote for you?
I think she was talking about voting them out.
I thought she said, "Yeah, if you drop, I won't vote for you."
Right.
She's trying to pull a Christie.
Okay.
Right. It was more.
And Dale refuses. He's like, "I've got like 20 more minutes. I'm fine."
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, "Fuck."
Yeah, and then Dale wins. He wins the immunity that he so wanted.
Wins the one that matters.
But there was no emotion from Dale after he won. Like Dale,
were you expecting a lot of emotion from everything that we've seen of Dale from this season? Were you expecting emotion?
I don't know. I just thought like
it's just
immunity. I thought he'd just be a bit more like hands up in the air, like yes, like double fist, like I did it or something. But it was some nice hugs. So
yes, the fake happy that everyone does.
Yeah,
people who win immunity.
We won. It is sad loss.
Mm-hmm.
We see Caitlin hoping for a tied vote and a challenge.
She's never going to get over tied votes.
I literally have a note here. She's clearly dreaming.
Yep.
Yeah.
She is clearly dreaming.
At this point in time, she is clearly dreaming.
When she said,
she had to win that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
And then I think John's social prowess comes to the fore here. Like he pushes Caitlin right into the spotlight as a threat without anyone looking at him, regardless of the fact that the game, for the most part, has been the same.
Yeah, but he does point out that he's going through the jury. He's saying Caitlin was really close with Tash, with Kate, with Laurel.
Yeah,
that's three people automatically. He explains that. All right, when we swapped. Laurel was Caitlin's number. I had Ma, but she's gone. She's played two advantages. I've won immunity. But on the other side of it, you could argue that, John, okay, you've been to every tribal and you've never had immunity.
Yeah. Yeah, I still think people vote for Caitlin over John, though, to win.
They do. We did poll the jury at the watch party. Kate wasn't there, but everyone else on the jury was there, and they all said, yeah, Caitlin wins over John.
Yeah, so it's really just pick your poison.
Here she is!
Hi! Welcome.
Thank you.
We've just been talking about how you're dreaming about getting a 2-2 split at final four.
Oh, I know. Chloe, please.
Never. No.
So we're not quite at your vote yet, but we're about to go to your tribal
council.
Sorry,
Kate got voted out, and Dani was like, "Oh, I'll message her to come on." I'm like, "That's Caitlin."
I was like, "Get my wrong person." I was like, "It's Caitlin, not Kate." Apologies. And then we say emotions.
Laurel says hot bitch alert.
Oh,
look at your hair. You're fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
Emotions get the better of Chloe. She gets a bit upset here.
That was very sad.
Yeah, that was sad.
And again, that tells me that there's no way there's a 2-2 split here. She feels bad about it, but she's going to be that final girl at the end.
Yeah. So it was just a unanimous 3-1. Caitlin, who did you vote for? Did you vote for John?
John.
Yeah, John.
Yeah. And what was sort of did you have a strong pitch for why you think Dale and Chloe should have voted John over you, or you just knew that it was just you, that you were fucked?
I kind of knew that it was just me. I tried. Dale pretty much said he was voting for me. It was John and I were very clear we were voting for each other. So, and I don't know, Chloe was the only one, but also, yeah, not looking good.
Yeah.
Did you consider trying to pitch to John that the two of you should vote for Chloe, or he wouldn't have bought that?
No, there was absolutely no chance, John. John tried to vote me out at 6, so
yeah.
No.
True.
And then we're at the tribal council, and there's a comment from Dale here. He says he mentions not knowing what the jury is thinking or looking for. Now, for me, if you're at this point in the game and you don't have some idea of what the jury is going to respect or what they're looking for, then you haven't done enough. you haven't done enough, like socially or strategically, to figure out what they want.
To me, it was pretty obvious what they wanted the minute, Caitlin, you were voted out, and they all looked really disappointed.
Oh,
Tash was just like, what?
Was just like, look, like
And then-
steam coming out of her ears.
And Laurel was devastated. Like, it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Dani was also very upset. You were her winner pick from the
Yeah, you're my winner pick. So like,
I know, I saw that.
no.
Nice.
I think I had you. Like,
I had
really
you fourth,
early.
so I got you spot on.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah.
I lost everything else, but that's all right.
Yeah, we see Tash really was ready to burn down Charles. She was not. And we see that in her savagery later in the episode, which is a lot of fun. And then I've got here, Caitlin has definitely earned the right to brag about herself, because you're like, here I am bragging about myself, but kudos to you. Like, I think you had a phenomenal game. Like, well played.
Yeah, I love to brag. I love to.
Yeah, we noticed.
It was like because I played an org before.
Okay.
And I in that one was probably more humble, and my best friend played that as well. And I saw like all his confessionals, and he was bragging, and I was just like, I'm going to do that this time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It worked for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go back. Now that you've been voted out, let's go like back to the beginning. What brought you to Melbourne Survivor?
So I did Outcast org. And then after that, that's how I knew who Liz was, because she did that.
Okay.
And that's also my friend Eden kept tagging me in posts for Melbourne Survivor because Liz needed women. And I was like, I just eventually was like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah. Awesome.
And were you a fan of the show, or like obviously you played org?
Oh, right. Got it. Yeah. Kind of. I thought I was a fan, and then I started playing orgs, and it turns out there are people who are absolutely obsessed with it. And so I'm not quite that amount of fan, but I've seen quite a few seasons. I got into like the playing online through my best friend Tyler, who didn't get to play this season of Melbourne Survivor because they cast me instead.
Sorry, Ethan is away on a boys' trip, and I think they were being a bit loud, so that's why he muted himself.
No, he's had enough. He's
like, no, I don't want to talk to Caitlin.
He's back.
He's like, message me when she's off.
I have not had enough. Okay, I want to hear everything from you, Caitlin. A lot happened. Sorry, I was just screaming. So sorry.
And when you rock up on the day and there's clearly so many other big personalities, is that like off-putting? Like, how did that feel? Because like even on the mat, you could tell straight away that there's some big people there.
It made me really nervous. Like, I felt, I think, like I saw Annabelle. She made me nervous. Chris, and I think I was a bit like scared of them, which is why I also just didn't want to play with them when I was in there.
Yeah.
But I was excited because I saw Laurel, and I'd never really spoken to Laurel before, but I knew who she was, and I was pretty excited to like play with her.
Well, your energy when the two of you get together is infectious. Like you just like just hype each other up. It's just this like chaotic energy, and it's so much fun to watch.
Yeah, it is. It was so fun playing with Rel because I think we just both liked to do things that were like fun and silly.
Yes. Well, so we're just saying here, we're talking about Kate and what she could have done to stick around to like keep. If she had appealed to that sense of fun here with you, like play that idol for me, we're just going to cause some chaos, we're going to have some fun. How great would it be to be like having some fun at Final Tribal? Would that have been a good sell for you, or you were dead set on Kate?
Oh, I'd certainly listen. I'm certainly piqued by the idea of fun, but probably not. I think by then I knew I had to get rid of Kate, and I thought I had to get rid of John as well. So I don't think there was much she could have done.
Okay,
change that.
Yeah, we thought if any of pitch would work, it would be.
It would be the fun pitch. It would definitely be the fun.
Yeah, like little shits and giggles sort of a thing.
Yeah,
pretty much the same way that you pitched Laurel to get her to flip.
Yeah, dead on.
So, Caitlin, like, we see throughout the game how you enjoy not having the numbers and sort of like playing where you're in a position where people can vote you out and you don't have the strongest alliance in the game and you just want to have fun. So for you within the game, when did you really notice or sort of like decide, okay, I want to have fun, but I also actually want to win? Or was that there the whole time?
I always I don't really think about winning until around like final 5. But like final 6 and final 5, and I start having a bit less fun because I can't just do whatever will bring me the most joy. I think until then, I pretty much do like when I play, I make friends, and I really don't want to vote out the friends. Which is probably like obviously at final 6 I wanted Rox, but I also didn't want to vote out Laurel because I was having so much fun with her. And then final 5 was probably when I started thinking, oh, I've actually got to try, like I've got to do stuff to win. And that was voting out Kate, which was upsetting. So I loved Kate.
Yeah, we see you get a little emotional here. We're all a little shocked by that because you had been having so much fun to this point. And that was, I said that to these guys, it's dead giveaway for me at that point. There was Kate. It was never John going into that vote. Like as soon as she started crying to Kate, I was like, there it is.
Yeah. It was, yeah, I don't know. I always think, oh, a bit embarrassing that I cried, but I don't know. It felt like a really big 3 days. Feels like your entire world.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. Yeah. Yeah. As a crier on one of the LRGs, that's I do it too. It's fine.
Yeah.
Caitlin, you mentioned Rox. What is your obsession with Rox? Why do you love Rox so much?
I just think it'll be fun. I don't know. It's
fun
just
that you might go home on chance.
It's so stressful. I don't understand the fun behind it.
I just think it's like, yeah, like you might go home on chance, but like someone else might go home on chance as well. You know, like it's just a bit exciting. I guess I like to gamble a little bit. I just like the idea of like at some point in one of these games making it Rox. And like it would be obviously nice to get to Rox a way that's like helpful for you, like if you're on the bottom or whatever. But, you know, I'll take doing something probably not in my best interest to go to Rox as well. It just seems fun.
I understand that, but for me, this stress outweighs the fun. I never want to be in a position to give my game to somebody else.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, I understand, because if they don't show it, but I took ages to decide who I was voting. And I stood there being like, I know this is the stupidest thing I could do.
Yeah.
But
well, you see that you're like, it's like a 1 in 3 chance to me going home here. This is so stupid. You're like, you break the fourth wall of the camera. Like, how silly am I?
It's just so silly. And because they also like me, there was a point where like me and Laurel are like chanting Rox together. Obviously, Laurel's got different plans. Was not on board with my Rox plan, but I think I voted Rox because I would just be upset if I had the opportunity to go to Rox, and it was like on me that we didn't go to Rox because.
I think the only time in this whole game it would have been beneficial for you to go to Rox is when Annabelle went out and you were the other vote.
Oh, I know. That would have been really exciting. See, that would have been a treat because then I wouldn't have had to do it at final 6 as well.
Exactly.
Then I could have just voted Laurel. It was so much easier.
Yeah. I think also, Caitlin, what makes it so fun to watch you play the game is that you are willing to go to Rox and you are willing to have fun and you are willing to just like be on the bottom. And you see that when so many players are in stressful positions, they're not having fun while they're there. So it's really entertaining. And also it allows you a sense of freedom within the game to just play how you want, play really loose and just sort of like make decisions based on fun. So thank you for giving us a great viewing experience. There was you and Laurel and lots of big players, but I personally really enjoy watching other people play their own game. Personally, I love having fun. I said to Jules and Dani, I'm down to go to Rox, but at the same time, I want to win, and I want to win more than I want to have fun.
Because winning is fun.
That's right. That's right.
Win,
And then the bragging rights.
But it's like if you get to the finals and you don't win and you didn't have fun, then you just don't win at all.
Right, that's true.
That's another great way to look at it. That's a really good.
Yeah.
Because whenever I like go into this, I never assume I'm gonna get to the end. And so it's just like I'm gonna do something a bit fun and silly so that like I don't know, at least it was worth it. But thank you. That was really nice. I really appreciate that.
No, well done. You played a great game. And leading into that compliment, why did you play the idol at Final 5 for yourself?
Just a bit of fun. I really I stood there. Okay, so one, I was annoyed at John from like the last couple of rounds. And I knew that like if I was gonna play it, like I'd play it for John, but I was like a bit annoyed because John had tried to vote me out and John had voted Tash out. And so I was like, I'm not gonna play it for John. I knew I wasn't gonna play it for Kate. Well, I thought about it, but I was like, I can't beat Kate at the final. The jury loves her. And I was like, I could just play it for me. Why not? It was funny to me. A lot of my friends have found it funny, so I'm like, I stand by it.
Yeah.
Slight play loves it.
I would love that.
So can we go back to the beginning of the game on original Red Tribe? Who were your closest allies there?
Tash and John from the start. Like John from the start, because John saw the clue in the tree, the one that Tash got, and John pulled me aside and was like, there's a clue in this tree, like, do we want to try and get it together? And then Tash just comes running in with a stick. And so she gets it. And like, we've all seen, like, we saw her get it. So then the three of us made an alliance. And then also Kate. Really quite liked Kate.
Yeah.
I started with. And then I think like Dale ended up being pretty, who else was on the tribe? Close ally. And like, so did Ash. I just didn't know to trust them. So I didn't. So they weren't as close because of that.
Okay, and then we see you get swapped into the minority. That first vote, you and John vote for Ash. Had you guys been told that was the vote, or you decided to vote for him?
Yeah, I think like just John and I weren't going to vote for each other. I don't remember being told that was the vote. Can't really remember. I remember Ash told me on the way there, like Ash was like, vote for me, and then you've just got to get in with these people. Like Ash made me feel really good about that. So then I was like, yeah, I'll do that. But I don't remember being told.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we get what was voted as the best move of the entire season. You managed to convince Laurel to turn on Annabelle. Yeah. Can you talk us through that?
I remember thinking like Laurel is going to be my best bet here. She was like the most open to talking to me. I knew from, because we'd played an org, I knew from an org that she's like quite chaotic. And I also could just tell like I wasn't getting anywhere with Rosie. It was awkward with Annabelle. Ma was like my next best bet, but I could just tell that like Laurel was the most open. And then when Laurel was like open to voting Annabelle, like that was such a treat for me. Because I really thought Annabelle was like, I didn't know until I watched it later. Like I thought Annabelle was like on top. Like I thought Annabelle was like their leader. I thought she was the top of that group of 4. So I was like, this is epic. Yeah, I don't know. Laurel was the one giving the vibes that she was ready to do something. Everyone else was very, like Rosie and Annabelle weren't. And Ma was like hesitant.
Annabelle saying it's her big dick energy.
It is. It's a massive.
Huge.
So then from there we see you guys basically run the table at the red. We get to merge. That seemed a bit chaotic. Can you tell us what was going on in your mind there?
At merge, I didn't know if we had Dale. I didn't think we had Dale in our team. Before merge, I was like, yeah, like I'll have Tash and Kate. I didn't even consider that they might have flipped to yellow. So I was like, we'll have John, Laurel, me, Tash, Kate. How many were there at merge? 10?
10. Yeah.
10, yeah. And so I didn't know if we had Dale, so I thought it might be like a 50-50. And then people were bringing up voting Laurel out, and I really didn't want that because
as we saw, and I loved that. That was great.
Yeah, and then obviously we get the most like the funniest moment from the season is the fake idol chase. Like when you were scheming this up, is it as funny as you thought it would be? Like what? Like, cause like for us, it's still fucking hilarious. Like
that was so funny at the time, and just as funny on video. I really liked how they edited it as well.
That was so good.
Really good editing. Yeah, props to Ma for that one because that was all Ma, the merger. But that was just like, I was like funny, like just you guys talking about like how funny would this be, and then Laurel's like, should I? And you're like, yeah. Legs it.
Also, that's what I loved about Laurel. Like, she's got a fun idea. She's gonna do it.
Yeah, just gonna go with it. Like,
a tiny bit, like she's there.
Yeah.
But and then at merge, I just didn't trust anyone from yellow. Like Max and Chris coming up to me and talking to me, didn't trust it.
Cornering you.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
Like, you are cornered at the toilets. Like the pitch black by CK. Like what is that moment like? Because I was just like, what the fuck? Back.
It was a bit stressful. I don't know. Yeah, because I was also so tired, like from the day. You don't really see it. I'm quite sick. And my voice is getting worse and over the
I remember being quite raspy.
Yeah. I don't know. I just wasn't ready for them to come talk to me yet. And then when they were like telling me if I vote them out, they weren't going to vote for me when they're in the jury, I was like, that really cemented for me, like, I'm not working with these people.
Yeah, of course.
And I wanted them out.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny when like Kate walked off and then like CK chased her. That was interesting to me.
Well, he was clearly not getting anywhere with you, so he had to go lick his wounds elsewhere.
Yeah. But and I didn't really talk to Chloe and Brady much until like pretty much after Tash was voted out or just before Chris was voted out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we see you get the voodoo idol, and of course you felt the need to do something chaotic with it. We've all talked about the situation that could have ended up in you going home with one vote. Did you know that was Laurel who voted for you?
No, Laurel was like, that must have been Chris. And I was like, Laurel, you're dead right. Like, that must have been Chris. Because, I never spoke to Chris, never trusted Chris. Didn't like how close Kate and Chris were because I wanted to be close with Kate. And put all the votes on Chris. Didn't think for a second that maybe someone else had voted for me. But like looking back, it made no sense for Chris to vote for me that round. Like one vote, just randomly. He didn't know that I was gonna play that idol the way I did. Yeah. And even like going into that tribal, it was so confusing because I remember we hadn't gotten the vote split right. Like nobody knew who was voting what.
Yeah.
And so that's why I played it. But like it's why I also didn't try so hard to figure out who was voting what. And I think that's also how John knew that because me and Tash, we both weren't stressed about who was doing what part of the split. And then I think that's also how John knew that I'd told Tash the whole truth about the idol.
Right.
And I hadn't told him.
So what had you told John? That it was a normal idol or?
I think so. I'm not 100% sure.
So what was really interesting for me was that we see you and John pre-merge, and John is saying, Caitlin's my ride or die. I'm with her to the end. And then your confessionals are sort of like, John's fun. Like, I like
that's
John.
Cute.
Yeah, like.
I love John. I do love John. I don't really know. I think I could tell, like, John and I, like, play differently. Like, I think John is, like, more strategic Whereas I think I felt close to Laurel because Laurel and I would just do fun, silly things. Like we have, but I feel like John, you could tell like thinks everything through.
I mean, he came for everybody that you seemed to like want to connect with. He was just like, no, like fuck all these other side bitches. I'm gonna be side bitch number
He says
one.
here, he's your side her number 5.
And I loved that about John. And I love John. Like we've caught up a bunch since. I really, good friends. But yeah, I don't know. I just think because we play so differently, I was always just like I just became really invested in like playing with Laurel.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So
and then we get straight to the surprise extra tribal and Tash goes. Now I asked this at the finale, which you weren't there for. I asked if it wasn't a surprise, if you'd had time, would Tash have still been the next to go? Brady, John, Chloe all said yes, and Dale said he would have gone there too. Would you have considered voting for her at that point?
I wouldn't have voted Tash. I really can't. I'm not very good at voting my friends out. I really liked Tash. I wouldn't have voted her. And because I had, like, at that point, very little relationship with Brady and Chloe. If I'd voted Tash out, I would have felt, like, pretty unsafe. But I wouldn't have voted Tash. And I think that's also what, like, that was another reason I drifted apart from John as well, because I did not trust what John was saying about why he voted Tash.
So just quickly, sorry, that leads to another thought where with the Voodoo Idol, you play it for Brady. Obviously, you weren't close with Brady and you weren't really aligned with him. I know you wanted to do something with the Voodoo Idol because it's going to expire. So can you just explain to me like your thought process with using it for Brady?
The thought process on that one was I want Chris out. So I just wanted to move all the votes from Brady onto Chris because I'm not sure which one of them is getting the most votes, and I wanted it to be Chris.
Yeah.
Annabelle, Kate has a flu, so she's not joining us tonight, unfortunately. Yeah, that's fair. I probably would have sung at CK too at that point, especially after being cornered in a bathroom.
I did like I stood in front of them and I did think about playing it for CK instead. Like I knew I was going to play it for one or the other because it just felt like it would be really boring to play it for someone who's not going to get votes.
Yeah.
Right. So I wasn't going to play it for one of my allies and just be like, because considering it moves the votes.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, I chose to get rid of Chris.
Well, I mean, good thing you did because, like we said, you would have, if you had chose to be chaotic, you would have chaotically yourself out of the game.
Really, yeah. And I think I've spoken to Laurel since, and I was like, would you have wanted me out? And I think she was like, no, I just wanted to.
No, yeah. We asked her the same thing. Was that like, what if that had happened? She was like, no, it was never what I wanted. I was just...
It was fun. It was a really fun thing to do.
Yeah.
She, I don't know, potentially could have gotten me on board if like she'd come to me like fun, vote for someone else, not me. But
yeah.
I did really want CK out.
So we see like at that point in time of the game, we actually see Laurel talk to CK and say, I don't want you voted out, because I think for Laurel wanted more big players and wanted to have more fun. Was that conversation ever had between you and Laurel about keeping CK at that vote or anything?
No, that was a shock to me watching that, finding out Laurel didn't want CK out. Because we'd only ever spoken about like not trusting CK and wanting to vote CK out. So I think Laurel just didn't bring that up with me because I wouldn't have been on board. But that was a real shock finding out that not like heaps of things happened and I had no idea that they were happening, and I only was just finding out watching it back.
Well, yeah, I think I said only last week or the week before, you and Laurel like the best of frenemies because you like had so much fun together, but you're also like never like interested in like continuing a long working relationship because like you just there wasn't enough trust, I don't think.
Yeah.
Because you both were just agents of chaos, so trust can only go so far with two people having fun.
That's so true. It's two people who know they'll choose a bit of fun over the other person if like push comes to shove.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Stick with us. We're gonna run through Final Tribal Council if you're happy to stick around, and then we're gonna get Dale in.
Sure.
Cool. All right. So Final Tribal Council, we've got our pitches. Dale's pitch is all about adaptability. He realizes he isn't going to be the biggest or the loudest player with the amount of personalities there are, so he decided to sit back and let the players come to him. He knew where all the votes were going. He made the choice for himself every time. He claims the roll votes. He also claims he backed off in challenges so that he wasn't a challenge threat, which is a heap of bullshit because we see previous confessionals that he was like, I should have tried that. I suck. So that was a really interesting strategy at that point to like be like, I wasn't trying at all.
I don't think anybody bought that.
No. Chloe pitches not being a huge Survivor nerd like most of the other players, and she was being unsure about how she wanted to play.
It's not nerd. It's just passion, and we love
We're
it.
nerds. We're Survivor nerds. It's fine. Actually, we do a podcast on the LRG. We're Survivor nerds.
Yeah, Caitlin, we are really cool.
Oh, the coolest of nerds. It's fine, but we are nerds.
As I'm sitting here with my challenge and my immunity idol behind me.
She pitches her social game and the fact that she formed bonds. Her first big move was against Tash, and her second was for Caitlin. And John knew that his strength was social. We get the first Denise comparison drop. He also drops
3 times he said her name in that opening.
He also drops the fact that he's a psychiatrist. He owns up to that instead of being a social worker. He said Caitlin was the Malcolm to his Denise. And obviously the fact that he went to every tribal council.
Yeah.
I don't know if you just picked up on this. Dale does like a sarcastic little clap in the middle of John's speech. Did you guys see that? He was kind of like, Just me? Is it just me who saw
it? I didn't notice it until I saw it in your notes, but yeah, sure.
I watched Final Tribal once and I was very tired.
Okay.
I'm out of the loop, to be honest. I have no idea what's going on.
I watched Final Tribal in a noisy pub, and then on the second vote, it was at 1.5 speed. So,
okay, there you go.
That.
All right, and then so CK is the first to question. He gets up before Liz even asks him to get up.
He had to be first. Everyone else went in order. He's like, "No, fuck you all. I'm first. I'm CK, and I lied."
He says his vote is up for grabs, which I fully believe at this point in time with his final 3. He doesn't know where to put it. And they asked the jury to guess what lie from all the lies he's told, but about his personal life is a lie. Like, what is the biggest thing that he's lied about his personal life? No one gets it right. Dale and John say the fact that he has kids, and Chloe says the fact that he's married, which I was like, oh.
It's a bit mean.
It's a little savage. Yeah, exactly. The biggest reveal from the season is he's a lawyer at a top 7 law firm in Adelaide and very successful.
Shock horror. Doesn't surprise me.
I mean, from what we heard, he was lawyering all the challenges.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can you confirm, Caitlin, he was lawyering all the challenges?
What does that mean?
He was like being a dictator on the rules.
Oh, yeah, probably. He was very loud. He was always very, yeah. Oh, in the first challenge for sure. Yeah. I think that's when it started.
Yeah. On a different tribe, and you're like, oh, this guy.
Yeah. Well, because our puzzle had like a brick, and his had like a wooden log, so it wasn't as stable.
Yeah.
So yes, yeah. Here we go. So he can complete even when he won all the challenges.
Clearly he was complaining because he wanted to go to tribal.
Yeah, he wanted to play.
He
wanted to win, but he also wanted to play.
Sorry, keep going, Dani.
You're right. All good.
And then from Max onwards, they mic up the jury. Thank God, because I couldn't hear shit.
If only they had mic'd up the contestants too, that would have been nice.
I couldn't hear anything they were saying.
No,
I had to get lucky. I had all 3 of them in the room. I had to be like, "What did you guys say there?"
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
I feel like Annabelle's been hacked by CK tonight. She's just.
She's obviously lost a bet or something. I don't know.
Oh dear. All right. Yeah. Max, the nicest of all nice guys, wants to know how they played dirty, which I thought was a very interesting choice for Max.
None of them gave a good answer there, I don't think.
No, well, none of them did play dirty. There was nothing really dirty about the way that any of them played.
I feel like John played a little dirty, just because, like, you even see it with Caitlin, like trying to vote out Caitlin's closer allies than John. Like,
yeah, Tasha's close to Caitlin. Cut her off.
Yeah, if
Morale's close to
that
Caitlin.
would have been awesome. That would have been a great.
Like, yeah. So I think John is playing just more secretive, dirty. Like, if John goes, I was really close with Caitlin, but I needed her to be closer with me than she was with all these other people. So I, like, lied and backstabbed my closest ally just to get her to work with me. Then, I'd consider that, like, really good.
For sure.
Sounds really toxic.
Well, it was. It was very.
What did he say again? Toxic boyfriend energy, like Denise. Oh my god. No, what did he say his dirty move was? I can't remember.
Turning on Caitlin.
Right.
I mean, that kind of had to happen.
Yeah,
but
he would have lost. Well,
and then we see Tash ravage them for all.
Oh my god, that was the bet. I loved it. I was sitting next to her and she was like, "Oh my god, it's worse than I remember." I was like, "No, it's everything." I love it.
I was shocked.
I love it. I'm not interested in giving you my vote. Like, oh, what a queen.
That was crazy.
Yeah, kind of basically tells them that, like, she doesn't think any of the moves they're claiming are big moves. They were moves of necessity at the time. And that tells John that he needs to sell himself more.
And telling Chloe that, claiming Caitlin as a move, it was final four. You had one of two options. Like, is that a move?
Yeah, which is true. She's like, yeah, it's a move, but it's not a big move. It's a move. It's a choice you had to make.
Right.
And is it a big move to, at final four, take out the person that is most likely to win?
That's not a move. It's
not,
just common sense.
That's what she's saying. She's like, yeah, good for you. You made the right choice at the right time.
Yeah, taking risk, that's a move. Like, putting yourself in potentially a worse
Wanting
position.
to go to rocks, that's a move.
That's right. Wanting to go to rocks.
Yeah, so yeah, and then Tash gives John more credit for his game. Tells her, like, that every time that she floundered a little bit, he was there with his strategic prowess. He was the one who
assured that the yellow were going to break,
and that they did. And then she hyped the 12 out of 13 votes that he did correctly, which again, so impressive.
That's a good record.
Yeah.
And then Brady goes the opposite way, super sweetheart like he is, gives them all credit for their own games.
Good job, guys.
Well done. Job well done to everybody. And then, and as expected, narrows in on Chloe and wants to know what her move was outside of their alliance. To which Chloe claims her picking the tribes.
I mean, it guaranteed her to make merge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did that with no help from Brady.
Yeah.
Well, what's her move outside of Brady besides that?
I don't know, but I just don't. I don't know.
She did everything with Brady.
Everything else was with Brady.
She didn't really do much after he left, so there's nothing she could claim there.
Right,
She's already been told that claiming Caitlin's not a move.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Caitlin, you were there. What should Chloe have said?
Maybe the Tash thing. I didn't really have much to do with Chloe's game, to be honest. I didn't really know her very well. Voting out Tash, I feel like that was like a group effort.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know.
So yeah, she didn't really have much she could.
Yeah. I also, I just didn't really see, I didn't really talk to her most of the game.
You're right.
Yeah.
And then Laurel is mourning the loss of iconic winner.
That outfit, oh my god.
But then she's super supportive. She kind of urges them all to back themselves, kind of says, like, it doesn't matter how you got here, you got here. Like, everybody's game is valid. and then asked them all, and then Savage again asked them all to say who they all thought was the worst player in the jury, and all the motherfuckers vote for Brady.
Other than Max and CK.
Other than Max and CK.
And even
Right.
Chloe said Brady.
I know.
He
That's
just like
fucking
pumped you up and said you played great, and then you go, oh yeah, he didn't play well though. Sorry, Brady.
It's okay, Brady. We think you did a great job.
Yes, John. No, they said you couldn't vote Max and CK, but did you all have to pile on Brady?
Yeah. Look, if you can't
I
vote
mean,
Max,
the only person read Chloe. I mean, while it was rough to see it from Chloe, she was like, it's like because he wasn't as forthright socially as he could have been. Like, so she claims ownership over the social part of their partnership.
I think with a question like that, you kind of just have to go, right, who on the jury am I not getting their vote, and pick them. Or in Chloe's case, I can say him and I'm still going to get his vote. So that's a safe person to pick.
I agree.
Well, John, I wasn't going to say Tash or Kate or Caitlin. I needed their votes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And smart. Just pull on Brady. Poor Brady. But, like, look,
I
don't. If you eliminate Max and CK, and then on the jury you have Caitlin, Kate, Laurel, Brady, Tash, like
you're not getting Brady's vote.
I feel like Brady, like I feel like at that point the answer probably is Brady. But yeah, hard one.
So John's saying Brady was always voting Chloe. His vote wasn't up for grabs. Caitlin, was your vote up for grabs that night, or you walked into trouble with your mind meta?
No, I was voting John. Yeah, I thought John played so well. Survived every tribal, never had immunity. Yeah, got Tash voted out, got me voted out. I thought John played an amazing game, so I was always voting John.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we completely agree.
Yeah.
And then Kate wanted to know all their star signs. We find out that Dale is a Sagittarius.
Oh.
Hey, Dale!
Hello. Hello.
Dale's a Sagittarius, Chloe is a Gemini, and John is a Cancerian.
Yeah, John is definitely Cancer energy.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Big old emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Dale, welcome. Congratulations on getting to the final 3. I'm sorry that you didn't get any votes. However, it was really good to see in the finale. We got to actually hear a bit more about your game. And I definitely give you credit. Like, you didn't have a really close ally throughout the entire game. You clearly weren't as well integrated in solid alliances as other people were. And also for a cast of 16 people with very loud, assertive people, you did a really good job making your way through the game, getting to final 3. So yeah, congratulations on playing a good game, but unfortunately just not being able to finish it out at the end. So
yeah, awesome. Thank you. I spent the last 20 minutes deciding what buff to wear. And I thought, I reckon that I'm still a bit more red overall. I think I vibed better with them. Although, as I mentioned, and this is my jacket, homage to Tash wearing hers as well. That. And a little known fact, the cast know this one in crew, but this is my blanket I brought because I didn't think to bring a sleeping bag. I'm not really sure why exactly.
Oh my God.
So, oh my God, you would have been freezing.
I didn't sleep either in the night.
Tell me like you got to steal someone else's on the second night.
No, they put some weird fire blanket over me, but it nearly caught on fire. I'm not sure if that's really the point in a fire blanket. I thought it was.
Good Dale nearly burnt to death. Jesus Christ.
Both nights actually. First night I was sleeping with Scott and Kate because we didn't want to go in the big cover thing. It was quite warm, so we slept near the fire, and a log fell on Kate and me nearly, and Scott actually saved us, but then we
voted him out.
You repaid him by voting him out.
Rude.
Yeah, so that was a bit unfortunate for him.
Oh dear. All right, let's get into closing statements before the vote, and then we can deep dive into.
We haven't finished yet. We got to Laurel. We didn't get to.
No, I said Kate. Kate wanted to know all their star signs, and Caitlin didn't ask any questions. Just wanted to tell
Like
everyone
a boss.
played with them all.
Like a boss. No, boo. Sorry, Kate. Ask a fucking question, okay? No, I'm just joking. Look, you do what you want at the final tribal council. Make a statement. Say nothing. But personally, I like to ask a question or make a statement. Make yourself a bit more well known. So I didn't get the question from Kate, but I hope it helped her decide who she wanted to win.
Matt C is asking, is Caitlin in a swivel chair or is she just modelling?
I'm in a swivel chair. Wouldn't it ever be such a fun reveal if I wasn't?
It's just like
all right, closing statements. Dale basically says he's never in danger of being voted out. He came out of his comfort zone and was proud of himself, which kudos to you, Boo. And he thanked all the cast and crew as the sweet gentleman that he is.
I think I run out of things to say, so I just thanked the cast and the crew.
You know there's no Miss Congeniality award.
Yeah, I know.
Very nice.
Chloe says, I won all the yellow challenges. I'm the final yellow and the final girl. And that she thinks that should have been rewarded. And Johnny is the underdog who went to every tribal council fighting for his life through social connections and was always open to playing with fire.
Yeah.
And then because we don't see the vote play out, so we know that Cash votes for John, CK votes for Chloe.
CK, Max, and Brady voted for Chloe. The other four voted for John.
Okay.
So that's Kate, Caitlin, Tash, and Laurel.
So I have a question for you, Dale. Before final three, so Caitlin's been voted out, and you're looking at going up against John and Chloe. Whose votes did you think you were getting at the final tribal?
I wouldn't say there was anyone I was that definite on, which I guess would have been a concerning thing. I thought, CK was pretty open. He said he hadn't made his mind up, so I wasn't quite sure. And maybe, I knew Max, Brady would vote Chloe, and I pretty much knew most of the red would probably vote John. And I think the other thing, which I don't think has really been mentioned, is I don't think anyone wanted to risk voting not all on John, because then it would have been a tie, and they wanted like a red John win. So I think that was a big thing as well. Like Laurel jokes quite often that she wished that she voted for me, so I could force a tie, which would have been a pretty epic way to end the season. I was a swing vote right to the very last minute.
Who would you have voted for?
John, just. Yeah, but
so is that how that works? So if it's a tie, then the person in third votes?
Yeah, I think it's happened once before, right? Or no?
Yeah, it's happened once from I'm told. Yeah. So Dale, even though
John says the tied vote should have ended in rocks.
Kayla would have stood up and be like, we're going to rocks.
It was so upsetting though. Like I missed out on the only rocks of the season.
Yeah, you weren't involved in it.
I'm sure John would have let you get in and pull his rock for him.
That would have been huge.
So, Dale, did you have any strategy going into the game? I think, is it right to say like you are a big Survivor fan?
Was a big Survivor fan. I don't really watch it now, but I used to watch every season when I was younger, like when I was living at home with my family and that. My strategy, and I think that's why Liz cast me, I used to do a few orgs back in the day, and I was kind of like a bit of a villain, and I don't know, a lot more, I guess, loud and over the top, but it's so easy behind a keyboard because you have time to think, and you can just fake it a lot more. Well, I can anyway. In person, I find it a bit difficult to be like vindictive or whatever. So that was my plan going in there, but when it started, I just couldn't really bring out like a nasty side because I don't really have it in me. And in the back of my mind all the time, I was thinking, being a primary school teacher, what if like any of the kids are watching? I don't want to just be like rude and horrible to people for no real reason over a game. But I mean, I should have probably threw a bit more shade at people. Yeah.
Well,
And
Also,
Rancy.
John, Ethan has not watched more seasons than anyone else. I take offense to that. That's me.
Jules is a walking encyclopedia.
Thanks, Jules. Thanks for that little stop there.
I'm sorry, but like you didn't even know what safety without power was. Like, come on.
That's true. That's true. Look, I gave Dale shit for like telling people about his idol and his advantage, and I did the same thing.
Yeah, you did the same fucking thing.
I want to rewind and apologize, Dale. The only thing I will give you shit for is your poor performances at challenges.
Yeah.
But other than that,
Dale, you said in Final Tribal that you were holding back in challenges. Is that true?
No, complete bullshit. The only one I would say I could have potentially won was you saw how well I did in the Final Four one, the bucket challenge. I could have, I think, went a bit longer and maybe beat Max or
because that one you dropped out for a disadvantage, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah. But I was never good at puzzles though. That's nothing really to do with being a tennis player. But then I was shit at balance as well, so I can't really use that as an excuse or anything.
So Dale, just going back to you playing the idol, obviously it was, I guess, wasted, but it also did take a target off your back very early in the game. You know, potentially if you had held on to the idol for longer, you would have been seen as more of a threat. So what was your thinking and rationale behind playing the idol? Did you feel like people were going to vote you out at that tribal?
No, I felt reasonably safe, but I didn't realize John's eyesight was so terrible. And he was literally so close to me when I had the idol. I found it, well, Marina found it and gave it to me. Thanks, Marina. And John was like right there, and I was like holding it up before I hit it. So I assumed he'd seen it. So I just kind of wanted to get it out in the open. And then I don't really know what happened. I guess I got verbal diarrhea. I just kind of told everyone. I told you, Caitlin. I think I told everyone, right? I don't think anyone did not know at that point.
I think everyone knew you had an idol, and then did you tell them that you were going to play it?
I said I was playing it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
but I mean, I think it worked out well in a way because I got rid of that target. But I think it also worked out bad for a particular period because everyone thought I was really paranoid. But I wasn't even paranoid. That's not why I played it.
So I love this alternate reality. Imagine post-swap yellow going to tribal if Dale Kate had idols and Tash had
Yeah.
Now that
I always think about that. Yeah, because I mean, by all accounts, I was probably going if we went to any tribal councils. And if we all had an idol, that would have been so freaking epic.
So cool.
I don't know who would have went because
CK.
Yeah, I'm thinking CK.
Probably, but I think Tash and Kate were really just going to turn on me and just try and get the others to vote all for me. So there might have actually been no votes on anyone else but me and whoever I voted for. So it might have been up to who I voted for almost.
Who would you have voted for?
I don't know because I don't know. Once again, I don't know who I would have stuck with there. If I would have stuck with the red or the new yellow.
Yeah. Because we see yellow bringing you in a lot. So how did that feel? Did you feel they were making like a lot of effort to bring you in over Tash and Kate? Did you feel as if you were like part of their alliance?
Yeah, I mean, with Max, I felt like a bond. Like CK, yes and no, but it felt a bit disingenuous, and I think that's why I did kind of flip back to red, moving ahead after the merge, because I didn't feel like it was necessarily 100% real, but like the way he was talking to me. So I just had that vibe, and Brady and me didn't necessarily talk that much then, so I didn't know where I was with Brady, and Chloe and I hadn't really developed our strong relationship at that point anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Who did you really like connect with the most at merge? Because we see basically two alliances already established between basically yellow and red alliance with you and Laurel basically being on the opposite side.
Mm-hmm.
So we see the Brady and Chloe really close duo, and there are quite a lot of duos, and then you're sort of by yourself. But at merge, both alliances were trying to pull you in for them. So what was your thinking? What was your gameplay moving forward? Were you thinking about final 9, final 8, or were you just thinking, how do I get through this vote?
Yeah, pretty much through each vote. I literally just went with my gut there. And I think that was a bit of a problem. I was only thinking about each round half the time, which can work, but often doesn't either. Yeah. But I mean, I guess the biggest surprise for me was I thought I had quite a few alliances, but I had really none early. Caitlin, me and Caitlin didn't talk as much early, but we got tighter after the merge, I think. But Kate, I vibed with really well. Tash to a certain degree. And I thought I was kind of in with them, but they had their own thing. So I was kind of my freaking alliances were probably Scott and Marina, and then Scott and me. I mean, if we want to go back to this, controversy, soon as it was it's between 2 white males, I'm like, well, you're dead to me now. And then Marina was my number one, actually. She's so cool. I threw her right under the bus and exaggerated how shady she was. So I kind of knocked off my 2 biggest allies straight away. Well, I didn't really knock off Scott. Everyone did, to be fair.
Yeah, I think that was quite unanimous, that vote.
Yeah.
So Dale, what I'm hearing is potentially a really good final 3 pitch. Even though it is at the start of the game, it is very early, but you're talking about having 2 people that you wanted to work with and then turning on them in not only the necessity to move forward within the numbers, but also to, I guess, make a move.
Yeah, and I don't think I articulated. I haven't watched the episode back, and as Jules was saying, you couldn't really hear shit.
Well, when Max asked for your dirty move, you claimed the Laurel vote, and then you had already had the sneaky final 3 deal that nobody knew about.
Yeah, and I think the Laurel vote, I think that was a bigger move than the Marina one, and so I think it was probably the right one to mention, where I flipped my vote, and that was the reasoning behind that. It would probably mean a bit more than saying I flipped on someone in the second vote. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think voting out Laurel is a massive move, especially being the swing vote. So
yeah, and I mean that wasn't shown that well, but me and John were hoping they would show this in the very next episode. John was I guess quite angry at me for not telling him I was voting for who was it again? It's been a long day. Yeah. Yeah. So
forget Laurel.
No, I'm dead. School holiday program, 100 kids every day. Yeah, so that would have been a pretty cool scene to show because me, John, and Chloe were kind of a trio at that point, but John did not know I was voting for her. And he was a little bit annoyed about that at that point, but we worked it out.
Yeah, absolutely. So Dale, did you have fun? It was a bit of a roller coaster of an experience for you, especially watching it back. Did you have fun playing and did you have fun watching it back as well, or what's been your overall experience?
During it, so much fun. After it, fun. I mean, so many tight relationships now. I wouldn't say there's anyone I have issues with. I see a lot of them really regularly. Caitlin, we've even caught up, drinks at my house before one of the parties afterwards. Yeah, and even someone like Chloe, who's busy, I don't get to see as much. Yeah, so I think the relationships, I know it's been mentioned on every freaking podcast, but that is a really cool part. But I mean, it's been a little bit hard watching it back just because I wish I did a bigger game. And I think Jules, you might have, Dani actually, one of you mentioned this, I still have dreams sometimes about, and I'm like, what are you doing? Who gives a shit? It's a stupid game. And I still have dreams about what I should have done, how I could have done better to get votes. Yeah.
I literally had one last night.
Yeah.
Come on, Jules, let's go.
And it manifests itself even more because you're watching it. So it's been 2 years, so it kind of starts to fade a little bit. But then to see it all rejigged again, it's just oh, and especially because you start to see everyone else's point of view, which you obviously don't know at the time. So then suddenly it's just like the 1,000 things you already had thought of just springboard a million new different ones that for you.
I need a good psychologist. Does anyone know one?
Where's John?
I don't think John's the right person to go to.
No, but I mean, I think you just have to see it as fun overall. You don't want to take it too serious. Like a few times I'm like, ugh, and then I'm like, really doesn't matter that much in the end. And I mean, I got 3rd out of 16. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. For someone who at the start of the game, it looked a little worrisome for you, and then you just kind of skated through.
Yeah, I mean, like,
you said you were never a target really post-merge.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if it was shown. Like I said, like there was a few things I wanted to do. I wanted to light fire in the first challenge. I lit the fire to win the challenge. I've never done it. Like I just copied what I saw on TV. I'm like, oh, that seems like right. Got it. I wanted to win immunity. I finally did at the very end. Wanted to get an idol. I don't know where that idol is.
You checked a lot of the Survivor bucket list items.
Liz, have you got that idol? I would like it back. I don't know what I did with it. I was trying to find it, but I don't think I have it.
So, a question for both you, Dale and Caitlin. Would either of you play another LRG or potentially a All-Stars game?
When I got home, like I saw my parents, and they were like, "Oh, would you do it again?" I was like, "No fucking way." But absolutely now. Like I'm watching it back, I'm like, that was so much fun. And yeah, I've made so many friends from it. I would absolutely do another one. I thought about applying for Canberra, but then one of my friends was applying. I was like, won't play with a friend. But I think I'll apply. I'd apply for them in future. It was so much fun.
Yeah, you would kill it second time even more. I mean, you made 4th. You killed it anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm surprised Dani hasn't dropped the fact that Sydney is open for casting at the moment.
I hadn't had the chance to say that, just so you know.
I probably
you said it.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't play for a while anyway. Ask me again in like a year or so. I just think I need a mental, like a break from all things Survivor almost.
Yeah,
yeah, it's a lot.
Oh, we got another comment from Tash about Caitlin's hair looking on fleek.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. Thank you so much, Dad.
Oh,
she's a genius. What is the Ral's allergy?
I think it's going to be like, I don't know if I should say.
I
think it's like not necessarily outside. I could be wrong, or maybe not.
Oh, that's a treat indoors.
Sounds like a bit of tea.
You won't get sick, surely.
All right. Well, we're close to running 2 hours long. Dale and Caitlin, stick around. I'm going to take you off the screen because I actually do have a special guest who's joining us right now. So I'm going to take you guys away.
Oh my God, who is it?
You ready? Are you ready?
Drum roll.
It's
Liz!
Liz!
Hey!
Firstly, congratulations on such a successful season.
Amazing.
We've said it all the way along. This cast has just been chef's kiss, a really great treat for us all to watch. So really, really well done. I mean, you and the whole crew. What a brilliant season. We really enjoyed covering it. We've had a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and covering it. I've enjoyed hearing all of your takes and everything. And it's been good.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun to watch. The finale was amazing, and also I wrote down in my notes as well, Liz. I think you did a fantastic job of asking questions at Final 4 and at Final 5 and Final 4. I really do like long tribals where people get asked multiple questions, and then it sort of gives them the opportunity to either like spill some beans or just talk way like more than they should or whatever it is. So I think you did a great job at those tribal councils. So yeah, overall,
Ethan try and do that himself at tribal council. he asks people questions of the host. So he loves to hear other people talk.
Nice, yeah, I like a good tribal, a good spicy tribal. It was a pity with some of the sound and some of the tribals. Like sometimes it's just there's just too much wind and you can't tell what people are saying. But props to this cast for speaking up. I like that we managed to cast a lot of loud voices that helped a lot.
Yeah, true.
The cast in general was just fantastic. It's what we've been saying week in, week out. I think you could have the best challenges, the best location, the best twists and turns, but if the cast is no good, it's not going to be a good season. And yeah, the cast really came through for us.
Cast really makes it.
It was awesome.
It does, and you did well with this casting. All right, so we got to the end of the episode, and you tell us we are done with fire. We are going to water. We're going to the beach. Can you tell us any more about season 4?
Yeah, can you? Because I've been begging these two, and they won't tell me shit.
I told Ethan today it's Dani versus Jules.
Nice, Jules. Yeah, please, Liz. Please.
Yeah, so the theme of the season is obviously Dani versus Jules. No, the season. So it's basically I took a step back with season 4, and the season's mostly run by people who played season 3. So that was kind of cool. We kind of like me Josh and Vince kind of like handed over a bit of the reins in that way, and they got to kind of like try out some ideas of their own and stuff. And yeah, but one thing I was like absolutely sure on was like, we're going to the beach. We'd done like, so our most successful trial ever was in Mordialloc. That was on the beach, and there's just so much more you can do with challenges. Then we had Max and Brady on challenges, so you know that they're going to be like they're going to step it up so much more, and it's going to be pretty incredible. So visually it's a really stunning season. And yeah, it's just obviously a good cast again as well. And some
are we sure?
Some great moments too. Sorry, what?
Sorry. I was being rude. I was throwing Dani and Jules. You said it's a good cast again, and I was questioning that because I've met Dani and Jules, and they're a bit boring. So,
wow,
that's the last time you sleep in my spare room.
Wow, leaves. It's good stuff. But Ma is editing it. And you saw how good the merge episode was. So should be pretty well put together. And I don't have a release date for you, but I'm pretty sure we'd be pretty confident that it's a 2024 situation. We won't be waiting super long amounts of time. I really enjoyed editing this season as well, and so I'll catch up with Val, see if she need what she needs done and whatever, and I'll fill in gaps, and if she's just like, I've got too much, whatever,
she's currently traipsing through the African wilderness. Beloved, so she's earning a well-deserved break currently. So maybe wait a little bit to pounce on her.
So, Liz, a question. So you've given us a little insight into season 4, and we've gone from fire to water. What are your thoughts for season 5?
Well, I mean, we got we got fire, water. I mean, people have said Warrandyte is kind of earthy, there's a lot of stuff happening, the dirt and everything. So we just need air, don't we? For a Last Airbender kind of situation. So I don't know what to do with air, but
the challenge is skydiving.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could say love is in the air, and blood
versus water
might be on the cards for April. I mean, basically, yeah.
Well, if the theme for season 5, are you ready to release the theme for season 4 yet, or no?
Oh, I didn't say the theme, did I?
There's a theme.
You
I
said
thought
it on
it
the-
was-
Okay, so I'll just throw some
the theme.
keywords at you. Think pirates. Think the ocean. Think beach. Think stolen treasure.
Okay,
And maps. And you've got
Ooh. And
What,
what was
you
that?
What?
uncharted waters.
Uncharted
Melbourne
Waters.
Survivor
Now we'll
Season
get it
4
later.
Uncharted Waters.
Yeah.
Yay!
Uncharted Waters. Interesting. I like that. That's a good name. It's a really good name.
Yes.
So, yeah. Oh, I can't wait. Hopefully, Liz, you'll allow me to do the podcast for that one as well. Except it'll be me running the show as it should have been from the start.
Goodbye.
Well, maybe not. Maybe he'll just wait out of here.
He runs his mouth, he goes away.
Yeah, that's how it works.
But in all fairness, playing with fire, we've had the best fun. Thank you so much for a brilliant season. Thank you to the cast and crew for a brilliant season, and for everyone who's potted along with us. We are not done. We still have 2 episodes left to go. Next week, we are going to deep dive with Chloe, hoping we can get Kate too. She's feeling better. And then Monday, July 10, we will deep dive with the winner himself. Brace yourselves, pour your
That'll be a long
coffee, drink your V, because we are.
With how much people had to cut him off at Final Tribal, like that's definitely going to be a very long podcast. Yeah.
We've all had debriefs after every episode, so we are
ready.
aware of what's coming. We know we will.
It might have to be like a 3 o'clock start, just so we can all get to bed at a reasonable hour.
Yeah, alcohol might be necessary.
We'll do a shot every time he says Denise.
No, he'll kill us. He'll kill us. Anyway, John, we look forward to chatting to you regardless.
But yes, we are running 2 hours long. Thank you, everybody. We will see you next week with Chloe, hopefully Kate, and then the week after with John. But thank you guys for a brilliant season. We will see you next week.